Welcome to this edition of Practical Assertion. We're glad that you have chosen to join us once again, and if this is your first time doing so, we invite you to go out to our website and catch up on past editions. Our website is shown on your screen. As we celebrate the Thanksgiving holiday, I thought that it was fitting to offer a practical perspective on the subject of Thanksgiving. As I think about the idea of giving thanks, it is clear to me that there are some important benefits to doing so. When we give thanks, it causes us to appreciate others, especially the subject of our Thanksgiving, and it also humbles us because the mere act of giving thanks is an acknowledgement of the fact that someone else considers us to be of value. It causes us to reflect on the fact that somebody did something to us or gave us something. Appreciation and humility are both acts that force us to look outside of ourselves and consider others. Is it just me? Or do you agree that it seems that far too many people fail to give thanks these days? It doesn't matter whether we are allowing someone to get over in traffic or holding the door as we enter into the building, people just don't seem to appreciate the gesture. When you give someone something, rarely do the recipients pause to say thank you. I'm beginning to believe that for whatever reason, they feel entitled. How sad, as the popular expression in social media, shaking my head. How did we come to this? Why is our society so rude and ungrateful? Well, I would love to get your thoughts on the matter, but I have a few thoughts that I would like to offer up, and you tell me if I'm on target. First, I think that for some reason, we feel like we deserve stuff. I'm not exactly sure where this attitude came from. Some have suggested that because of all of the injustices that we've suffered, they owe us something. Well, my first thought is, first of all, most of us have never suffered a day in our lives. In fact, it is my ever so humble opinion that this is the root cause of our lack of gratitude. That is, that many have never suffered. I suspect that many in this mindset had parents who gave them everything that they wanted because their parents did without as they were growing up. They vowed that their children would never have it as hard as they did. Well, I've got to tell you, having grown up doing without some of the stuff that I wanted has made me more appreciative of what I do have. I grew up accepting hand-me-downs from folk and wore them proudly. I remember wanting Converse tennis shoes when I was younger, and my dad telling me that there was no way that he was going to pay $10 for some tennis shoes. Times were tough at the Bradley household, so we did without. Things got better as time went on, and I eventually got Converse, and guess what? I was appreciative and said thank you. Something else I discovered was that PF Flyers were okay too. At least I had shoes on my feet. Now, fast forward to today where tennis shoes cost many times more than the $10 that my folks had to pay, including Converse, Chuck Taylors for all you young heads. And guess what? Kids these days get them and many times get multiple pair with no problem. When you are accustomed to getting everything that you want, you feel like that is the way it's supposed to be. This is where the feeling of entitlement begins. The point is, if you've never had to do without, you feel entitled, I guess. As I continue to reflect on my upbringing and compare times, one fact bears consideration. My siblings were acutely aware of the sacrifice that our parents had to make to provide for us. When we got something, we received it with full understanding of the price that had to be paid to get it. And I don't mean the money that it cost. I mean the sweat and sometimes ill treatment that our parents had to deal with. This is why many times we had to do without and it was no problem for us. I'm suggesting that perhaps too few of our children are aware of the sacrifice that parents have to go through in order for them to have the stuff that they want. Speaking of doing without, when I was growing up, my father had a drinking problem and lost his license due to several DWIs. For a long time, my family went without a car because mom didn't drive. We had to rely on others to take us places or we had to catch the bus. This is why my kids don't always understand why I am so picky or careful with the car. I never liked having to depend on others to get us to where we needed to go. I guess we have arrived and have never had to depend on others, which may be the second reason that people are so ungrateful. We have made it, I guess. Where is the proof that we have made it? So many parents are in debt up to their you-know-whats, giving their kids everything they want. We've got to give the impression that we have made it. I was reading a very good book, the Bible, and ran up on this thought from 1 Corinthians 4:7. It basically communicates that everything that we have, we received it. And since we got it from someone, why do we think we have a reason to boast? Having to work 2 or 3 jobs to get stuff with the misguided notion that stuff equals love? In my counseling with troubled kids, it is clear that the kids really wanted time instead of stuff from their parents. I am convinced that one of the main reasons that we see so much violence in relationships is partly because we have given our kids so much that they struggle with having to do without. This feeling of entitlement extends into human relationships where we see people as things and therefore don't even appreciate them. What are you thankful for? Do you think that you have what you have because of who you are? Let us all take a moment to reflect on what we have and where it came from. This includes stuff, relationships, jobs, family, cars, homes, food, clothing, whatever. Take a moment to give thanks. What do you think? I'd love to get your views on the matter. And in the spirit of giving thanks, I want to thank each of you for either liking us or sharing our videos in the past. But what we'd really like for you to do is to start a dialogue on the subject. So let me know how you really feel. Go out to our website, which again is shown on your screen, and leave your thoughts there. Comment on Facebook, and please continue to share this with everyone you know. We'll see you next week for another edition of Practical Assertion. Goodbye.